Welcome to the Recruiter Essentials webinar. Well, this webinar was designed for those of you who have just started using LinkedIn Recruiter. It will give you an introduction to the basic steps to get you up and running within Recruiter. My name is Talita, I am a training specialist at LinkedIn, and I'm happy to take you on this journey with me. Before we begin, I want to introduce the learning outcomes for today's session. Pretty much what you will be able to do as soon as we finish watching this webinar. I want you to understand the value of the LinkedIn network. So I will talk about how being a part of this network benefits you. Then I will look at the difference and connection between LinkedIn.com and LinkedIn Recruiter. I will next dive into a live demonstration to show you how you can use Recruiter in your daily workflow to increase your efficiency. And finally, I will wrap things up by showing you where you can find resources to develop your LinkedIn Recruiter skills. Shall we begin? To get started, let's talk about LinkedIn. The LinkedIn network is vast, is massive. There are hundreds of millions of LinkedIn members in over 200 countries. And the network is continually growing. More than 2 new members join LinkedIn every second. Other social medias are pretty much used for your personal life. But LinkedIn is where you can be at your best professionally. You engage with talent, announce a new job or a promotion, and even celebrate professional achievements. But the biggest benefit for you as a recruiter is that you have a live pool of talent in your hands and high possibilities to find the talents you are looking for. But to attract and engage with the right talent, you should start somewhere. Am I right? Here at LinkedIn, we really believe that everything starts with your profile. It's your personal brand. It's your professional brand too. It's what fronts those email messages you send out to prospective candidates and the jobs you post on LinkedIn. For a talent acquisition professional, a great personal brand can really make the difference between attracting and losing this top talent, whether they are active or passive job seekers. So use your profile to give your target audience a compelling reason to engage with you. I'll give you an example, just to be more clear. Take a closer look at these LinkedIn profiles here, and put yourselves in the candidate's shoes. Who would you trust with your career? Well, profile number 1 lacks professional photo, no summary, nothing interesting. Am I right? It's pretty much plain and unfinished. But profile number 2, there is a professional looking photo, a catchy headline, interesting summary, and a complete information. So it is probably an all-star profile. Can you see the difference between them? It is clear that we all would trust profile number 2, right? You should think as well that your profile is often a candidate's first interaction with your company, so it should be inspiring. With this in mind, just take a moment and reflect on this question. Is your profile sending the right message of who you are as a professional? Do you think you are representing your brand with your LinkedIn profile? And what else could you do to have a more attractive profile? Now that you know more about LinkedIn, let's talk about the difference between LinkedIn.com and LinkedIn Recruiter. LinkedIn.com is the personal side of the network. This is how you are used to accessing the network. LinkedIn.com is where your personal profile sits, where you build your network, participate in groups, and get the latest news. What happens here stays here, and stays with you even when you move up or move on. Everything here is yours. LinkedIn Recruiter, on the other hand, is the company side of the network. Recruiter is where you source candidates, post jobs, and send email communications. What happens in Recruiter stays in Recruiter, but also stays with your company. Once you have access to your Recruiter account, a permeable wall is created between LinkedIn.com and Recruiter. So, although the information and the two sites are distinct, your information is able to flow between them. For example, the profile you create on LinkedIn.com is the one you use to represent yourself when you post jobs or even send email messages from Recruiter. Do you get it? So, where do you start? When you receive a new requisition, let's think about pretty much the tasks we have as a recruiter and things that we need to accomplish each day. And what time do they take? I was a recruiter myself for a long time, so I understand your needs. Believe me, we need to have a plan of attack for our daily workflow with LinkedIn Recruiter. So today, I'm going to show you a workflow that helps you to get started and quickly see results with your recruiter seat. This is a simple and efficient 5-step workflow. For the most natural flow, we recommend you to start by creating a project, which is pretty much where you can keep everything in one place. Then, searching the network, viewing profiles and exploring features. Third, organizing your work and easily accessing projects, saved search, and other things too. Then, engaging with talent via email and even reaching out to potential candidates. And finally, collaborating with your team and avoiding duplication of work. If you just started using the platform, this might not make much sense yet. Because of this, I will next demonstrate this workflow. But let's take a closer look at the scenario I'll demonstrate to you. Think that you are a recruiting consultant and you just came out of a brief meeting. Your manager told you that they are considering hiring a new software engineer in 3 months' time. The position is not open yet, but they want you to start looking and investigating what is the total addressable market. You spoke to the possible hiring manager, and here are some of the information you got. That's a possible open role in 3 months' time. The role is a software engineer. The location is in the United Kingdom, but that's a remote position. They require a mid-senior level, and some of the skills are Java and also English. They have other requirements as well. A minimum of 2 years experience, and also experience in working in a company with over 1,000 employees. Let's get started, but before I do that, remember, this is just an example. You can run the same search with any other roles and feature as you wish. To start the demo, I'm here on my personal LinkedIn page, and I'm going to click on the Recruiter link to access LinkedIn Recruiter. A new tab is going to be open with the LinkedIn Recruiter homepage. If it is the first time you are accessing, you won't be able to see the recent projects. They just come up as soon as you start creating your own projects. But from here, you can access projects, jobs, campaigns and reports, and some other features as well here on the right-hand side. Today, I'm going to follow the workflow I spoke to you guys. So I'm going to click here on project and create a new project with you all. As soon as I click here, I am directed to my page, to my site, to create my new project. The first thing I need to do is to create a project name. Well, I highly recommend you to have a name convention. Just make it easier for everyone to locate and understand what you're doing. So here I'm going to say the name of the position, the location, and the initials of my own name. Then you can have the project description. This doesn't influence at any point in your search, but it's nice for you to have something just so everybody in your team can understand what you're doing. I'm just going to say, hey, this is a possible role to open in 3 months' time. Now I'm investigating the total addressable market. The hiring manager is John Smith, the IT manager. Whoever comes here, you will understand exactly what I'm doing. Finally, I come to literally the features. So who is the person I am trying to hire? First thing is the job title. So I'm going to start typing here. And you will see that LinkedIn starts providing me with talent insights. Always clicking one of the options provided by LinkedIn. Why? If you don't do this, you won't get the customized talent insights. So I'm going to say I am hiring for a software engineer. I'm going to say the location is London in the UK. The seniority level, as I said, is mid to senior level. You can have from internship to executive. I'm going to say mid to senior level. And I am hiring for LinkedIn. All right? Then I come to the bottom and I can understand if I want to make this project private, which means only I will be able to see and whoever I invite later, or public, which means everyone, all members of your organization who have access to LinkedIn Recruiter will be able to see. I'm going to leave as private for now, but I'm going to change this later. Well, if I have a job to post, I could literally click here down to the bottom and add a job post. But as I said, I am just investigating who is out there, so I'm going to click in Create a Project. As soon as I click in Create a Project, I am directed to my project site. And here I am on the Pipeline tab. And of course, I have no one yet. Pretty much because everyone will be on my talent pool, and I have to investigate, explore more features, and then understand if they will be good enough to become part of my pipeline of talent. Based on the criteria I entered once I was actually exploring creating my project, LinkedIn already provided me with a few insights. But remember, we also have some other requirements. So I'm gonna explore some other filters with you right now. As I said, the job title is a software engineer. And the location is in London. But I could come here and say, hey, I not only want whoever is already in London, but people who are open to relocate. A pro tip here is, try to make your pool of talent as big as possible, then start narrowing down with other filters as well. I can come down to the bottom, as I said. Well, this is an open to remote work position. So I would love just to see whoever is open to remote work. And you can see from 48,000, I now have 5.9K. Some of the skills assessments I said, do you remember? Well, this person needs to have knowledge in Java. So I'm going to include Java here and click in Enter. As soon as I do this, I'm narrowing down even more my search. I could actually say I would love this person to have passed in some of the skill assessments, just to prove they actually have the in-depth knowledge I need. I could include some specific companies if I'm looking for my competitors, for example, but one pro tip here is always exclude your own company. The way you do this is just click in here, include the name of your company, and then click on this button here just to exclude, which means so I'm not searching for talent that already works for me. You could explore more features, industries, keywords, employment type, but I'm gonna come down to the bottom now and explore some advanced search filters as I spoke to you. The first one is the candidate details. So from here, for example, I said, I'm open for whoever works in other countries, but I want this person to speak English, right? As soon as you start using a lot of those filters, they won't be here anymore. They will be leaving for your left side because LinkedIn understands you use a lot and is relevant for you to have an easy access. So I'm going to come down to the bottom and say, hey, I want them to speak English. Okay? And you can always explore more candidate details. For example, people who recently joined LinkedIn, they will be much more likely to be looking for jobs, or even the network relationship you have with them. First reconnection, second reconnections, or others. You can come and explore education experience. And do you remember, I said I would like someone with at least 2 years of experience. So I can click here and I can say minimum 2. But maybe your budget is not that high and you would say, I cannot have someone with over 10 years of experience because I won't be competitive to them. And I can click on update. And you can always explore some other education experience features as well, such as fields of study, years in the current position, and even seniority level. Then I can explore some company features. So, for example, as I said, company size. They need to have more experience in companies with over 1,000 employees. So as I use it so much, it's here already on my left side. And I can say number of employees and just select 1,000, over 5,000, and over 10,000 employees as well. So only people with experience in bigger companies will show up for me. And this is one of my favorite parts, recruiting and candidate activity. You can actually select, hey, I just want to hide previously viewed and just talk to candidates that I haven't seen before. Or once you start adding tags, projects, and notes into someone's profile, which I will show you in a minute, you can actually conduct a search for those as well. You can come here and say, hey, I would love to talk to people who I have already engaged with messages, tags, projects, and others, or people without any of those, okay? And I also can come down to the bottom, and if I am the admin of my account, I can create custom filters. If I understand that LinkedIn does not have a filter predetermined, me as an admin or as a recruiter, I can talk to my admin and say, hey, I think we as a company would be really nice to have maybe something related to salary, okay? Or some other things that you might think is relevant. So now I'm gonna come back up to the top, and remember we have 2.6 candidates. I'm gonna hit search, and I will now have, you see, 600 results, right? But there is one more wow feature that I want to show you guys. If you click here in Spotlight, you will find the warm leads, the ones that are much more likely to reply to you. So for example, whoever is open to work, someone that already engaged with my talent brand, are much more likely to respond if they were past applicants of my company or even if they have any company connections. I can say, well, I want to see those who are already engaged with my talent brand. Because then, when I reach out to them, they will at least know and understand the company that I'm hiring for. And we can start better conversations there. And I now have 269 results to talk to, engage, and look at their profiles, see if they are actually good for what I'm looking for. Now that we have created a project and explored a few features, I want to start organizing our work, the third step of our workflow. The first thing I want to tell you how to do is to save this search. Well, you included a lot of filters here, and I really want you to find the warm leads and have easy access to it. So you can click here on this ribbon and save this as a new search. I'm gonna say those are the software engineers, okay, in the UK. Oops. And my initials, then everyone knows I'm working with them. I'm gonna leave the search alert on. I'm gonna click and save, and what happens is, as soon as someone meets my criteria, I'm gonna receive a notification saying, hey, we have X new results for you in the search that you were looking for. With that in mind, I can start looking at the profiles. I'm not gonna do today for the purpose of the demo, but I can include only one to my pipeline of talent, or I can save more than one at the same time. I can click in here in loads of profiles. Let's pretend I took a look at all of them, they are actually good. And I can save to my pipeline of talent as well. But at the same time, I can say, do you know what? Cameron, she's not what I'm looking for. So I would like to hide her profile. Well, based on those profiles that I add to my pipeline or that I have written, what's going to happen is, within 24 hours, I'm going to receive the recommended matches. which are the 25 top candidates that are much more likely to be what I'm looking for, okay? Based on my activity. I'm organizing my work, and with that, I actually want to explore my pipeline of talent. So I'm going to click here and explore my pipeline. Once I click in my pipeline tab, I can actually find the candidates we saved to our pipeline of talent. And as soon as I start engaging with them, I can say, well, I already spoke to Rory. I can change the stage of my pipeline and say I contacted him. Maybe with Avery, she already replied. I can access those very quickly here on my left-hand side. If I just want to see the contacted, the people who are already in the first round of interview. And if you think these stages here does not reflect your selection process, that's okay. The 3 first ones remain the same. The others, your admin can always edit, add, or exclude as well. With that in mind, I want to start clicking on the profile and start engaging and see what I can do as a recruiter. So I'm going to click on Rory. The tab will slide in from the right-hand side. And as soon as his profile opens, that's my view. I can understand in which projects this person is saved, if you have any messages, feedback. I can see the most recent activities, for example. I can see the summary, so I understand that the person already follows my page since March 2016. But what I want to explore the most with you is the recruiting tools. So first, I have the note. I can add a note just for myself, but I can also use the add to mention someone. So I'm going to mention a colleague of mine. It could be a hiring manager, for example. It could be a teammate. And you can add a message. So what I'm going to say here, for example, is, hey, could you please review this profile and check if it's a good fit for the possible senior engineer role in the UK? And I can understand if I'm going to make this note visible for me, for the members of my project, or for anyone in my organization. I'm going to leave as member of my project, and as soon as I click on add, the person I tagged here is going to be invited to take a look at this. Well, I then have reminders as well. For me, it could be a great tool, for example, that I could say, I spoke to Rory, he's actually quite good, but he's not available right now to talk to me. He said he's working a contract position, so I'm going to contact him in 2 months' time. So I can customize my message. I can set myself a date. And I can add this. On this day, I'm going to receive this reminder. I could actually as well have some links and add in here if I think is relevant for the position. I can easily slide in to another profile from here. And I can explore other features. So for example, tags and custom fields, they are preset by your admin. I could add a new tag, which I think, well, it's relevant for her profile, maybe conduct a selection process, and she was quite good, but she was a very close second. So I could click here. We've been playing around, so we have a few options, but I know I have one, which is a silver medalist. She was a very close second, and that's how I label them. So I can click on update. With the custom fields, for example, I could come here and say, well, the salary range she's looking for is between 100 to 125K. That's just an example for you to see how it works. But you as a company have to define what works best for you. And in the future, if I want to look for someone who are silver medalists or with the salary range, for example, I could literally on my search use those tags or custom fields. And then there is one thing that I really like as well. Let's say that Avery, it's quite good, but she's not available right now. There are a few things that I can do. I could click here on the 3 dots, and I could find more people like her, and a new search is going to be open with the things that are more likely to be what I'm looking for. I could also come down to the bottom in my recruiting tools, and LinkedIn already provides me with similar profiles, which I can actually explore and engage with them too. But now that you know how to organize your work, you have to start engaging with them, right? A few things that you can do. From here, you can actually click on the message icon and start engaging with this talent, okay? If you have a template, you could open a template from here, and whatever, you can personalize your message because you are much more likely to get a response once the messages are actually customized. But I know as a recruiter, you often are very busy and have to send a message to more than one person at the same time. So I'm going to close this off. And we are back to our pipeline of talent. So I'm going to select randomly 3 profiles here. These options will pop up. So I'm going to click in message. And from here, I can actually start typing my message. I can start by adding a subject, something short and catchy. And of course, I want to say hi, but I want to look like personalized, right? So I can come down to the bottom, click in here on this icon, and choose if I want to show up their first name, last name, or full name. I'm going to say first name. And for that, it's going to look like, hi Rory, hi Avery, or hi Reed. And then I can start typing my message. I can just copy and paste something I have ready in here. Whatever you can, please make it less than 500 words, okay? And I often say that the first email should open doors and not close deals. So create a connection with your candidate. That's not a template. That's just an example that we use here, but please make your own, okay? And I can click and send once I'm happy with it. But of course, sometimes we understand that this might look like and might be a really good template. Once I scroll down here to the bottom, you have the option to save this as a new template. Let's say you wrote a really nice message and you want to use it again in the future. So I'm going to save this as a new template. I'm going to enter the template name. So it could actually be Tech Opportunity at LinkedIn. I can decide if only I will be able to see or everyone in your organization. I'm going to leave everyone because I want to collaborate with my team. And I'm going to click Save. Next time I want, what can I do? Just include the name here and my template message will show up. But now that I spoke about collaborating with my team, let's see another ways that I can do that too. I'm going to close this message off and I'm going to get back to our pipeline of talent. With that in mind, I still have a few profiles selected here. And let's say that I want to share this for my hiring manager's review, okay? Well, these options are still up, so I'm going to click and share for review. It could be with my manager, it could be with the hiring manager, with my teammates. I could just add the name of the person here. Find them. They don't need to have a recruiter seat to review the profiles. They just need to have a LinkedIn profile, okay? I can customize my message, and once I'm happy with it, I'm going to click and share. And this person is going to receive a message saying, Talita shared a profile for review. Could you please provide her with feedback? The other thing I can do as well is just clicking one profile. As I showed you, you can use the notes as a way to collaborate, but you can also click on the 3 dots and share just one profile for review. And in this way, I am avoiding duplication of work and collaborating even more with my team. I could also click here on the icon to invite a member to access this profile, and I could click in here to make this project public, just in case I want everybody in my organization to understand what I'm doing and to have access to it. Okay, and I can click in update. Well, we covered quite a lot, but I just want you to understand what is everything that we just did. So with this in mind, I'm going to click here on the main page of my LinkedIn Recruiter and get back to my home page. Well, from here, a few things that I can see. My project is right on top. And if I click here, I can access my pipeline of talent and everything I just did. If I want to access my saved search, I could just click in saved search, or I could click as well on my search button, and the last option gives me the option to access my saved search. I could see here all the profiles that I have received feedback, or the ones I have to give feedback if someone shared their few members profile with me. And all the reminders I set for myself. If I just click here, I will be able to see the due and the upcoming reminders. But of course, as I said at the beginning of the session, that's just the basic level. I want you to learn a bit more. So what else can you do? If you click here on top on the question mark, a few options will show up for you. It could look like a bit different, okay, but that's no bother at all. You still can follow. And if you click here on the bottom, you will be able to access the Learning Center, which is what I'm going to do right now. Well, a new tab will be open, and from here I can access the webinars and understand what are the live ones or the upcoming webinars. I could take a tour and understand a bit more of how to use the Learning Center. And I can also click here in Recruiter and learn everything about LinkedIn Recruiter. As you can see, a few options will pop up. You have access to assessments, curricula, tip sheets, videos. You can select other languages, and you can easily search by topics as well. And this will help you a lot to get up and running within the platform. Well, let's get back to the presentation because I want to wrap things up with you right now. Well, now that you have seen how it all works in practice, let's recap and make sure you didn't miss anything. First, create a project. When you start looking for a talent on the network, creating a project is the most natural way to start your search. A project helps you to keep everything in one place and allows you to build and maintain a healthy pipeline of talent. The algorithm within Recruiter can learn about candidates that you are qualifying in your project, and this enables Recruiter to recommend you potential candidates whenever you are actively adding candidates to a pipeline or hide them in your talent pool. Second, search the network. Recruiter provides intelligent recommendations based on the search criteria you enter. As you adjust your search, Recruiter will refine the suggestions to be more relevant for the specific role you're looking for. Once you have run your search, Spotlight features will help you to focus on the warm leads who are much more likely to respond to your outreach. Third, organize your work. Recruiter offers many tools for organizing your work, including creating projects, but also using tags and statuses for better management of candidates through the recruitment process. Next, engage with talent. Email enables you to send a direct message to potential candidates within LinkedIn Recruiter. You don't need their contact information. You can also send one email to multiple recipients, but remember, personalized messages work best. But you can save time and create templates from your best email messages anyway. I also want to share some great news with you. You get a set number of email messages allocated per seat per month, and that is a 90-day rollover of unused email messages. Best of all, messages to your first reconnection or open profile, also known as premium, are free. You don't spend your credits. And lastly, collaborate with your team. Within Recruiter, there are many ways you can collaborate with your team and prevent duplication of work. Everyone on your dashboard can see the activity performed on a profile. Pipelining tools like tags and statuses can be added as you and your teammates connect with candidates. Projects and email templates can also be shared with your team, and profiles can be shared with hiring managers or other team members as well. Avoid duplication of work and start collaborating today. Well, we covered quite a bit today, didn't we? So I just want to go over a few key steps that you can take right now just to ensure you are going to be successful within Recruiter. First, build. Establish a professional presence on LinkedIn with a complete profile. Remember, your LinkedIn.com profile is an important element to build your professional brand. Make sure you update it and tailor it with candidates that you are trying to attract. Then, engage. Customize your emails. Try to call out elements in the profile that stands to you. And remember, A personalized message is usually more successful. Finally, search. Identify qualified candidates using search and research tools. You can search the talent in many ways. Don't be afraid to try and see what works best for you. Lastly, organize. Collaborate and organize your work to maximize team effectiveness. Avoid duplication of work with your team and make sure you organize your work with the project. With that said, well done. You have now concluded the webinar Recruiter Essentials, and you are now able to make the most of your recruiter seat. Thank you for watching this webinar, and don't forget that if you want to learn more and engage with our specialist, you can subscribe and attend a live session on the topic that you're interested at. Bye for now, and have a wonderful day.